Okay, what's up, YouTube? If you were here before, StreamYard, I mean not StreamYard, but Restream sucks. So we're StreamYard, and I learned a good lesson. I am not paying that $19 a month for Restream. So I thank Restream for showing me the way. We
Right.
talked about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. Like I said, if he can't get done first 2 minutes, he loses. But you said that you think it's going to a decision.
I said, because Jake Paul is not about to knock him out.
But he's old. You gotta think he's gonna get tired. Like
He,
60 years
he,
old.
yeah, I don't see him knocking him out. I just don't. He couldn't knock out what you call it, Anderson Silva. I don't know if you saw that fight,
True. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I used to
but
be big MMA, but yeah.
I don't
And
think I don't think he got I don't think he got the power to knock him out.
you don't think he has
So
a knockout power for?
not for
Yeah, I don't
Tyson,
think he's
no.
gonna knock him out, but it's not gonna be a good fight. I think after the first probably 2 rounds, it's gonna be painful to watch. And
I ain't watching it no way. I just
yeah, me either.
the
Me
result, the end result. That's really
yeah.
all.
Yeah. I mean they're selling it well because that slap was crazy. You
I
know,
think he did that because he stepped on his toes.
yeah, Jake Paul, he ate it though. He ate it. So
He ain't. I ain't gonna say he ain't eat it, but he was stumbling, and his face was red. I don't know about all that, but I ain't really interested in the fight. I was just wondering your thoughts on it.
yeah, no, I mean I'm gonna find a way to watch it. I'll say that, but it ain't gonna hurt my bank account. So
Yeah.
let's jump into, like I said, this is Goat Talk only. This is going to be a show we try to do on Fridays if we can do it. It'll be myself, sports talk only, maybe Big Nige if I can talk him into coming on Fridays. But we're going to just talk about the goats. And as I said, if you watched it when we were on Restream, I said that tonight we're going to kind of show you who we think our goats are, which would be the top 10 players who we think all time NBA. So I had some nice graphics to show our top 10, but unfortunately Restream didn't help me out. So I'm going to start with my 6 through 10 because I've done my 1 through 5, but my 1 through 5 has changed slightly due to some I had some bias I felt. So I'm going to do my 6 through 10, and then if you want to critique it, you can, and then we'll let you do your 6 through 10 of who you think are the top 10 NBA players of all time. So number 6, I have Bill Russell. And you can give a quick reason why. Bill Russell, I mean, he's undeniable. His game might not be what most people, and some of his stats might not be what most people feel is the GOAT, but he transcended the game in a way back then that very few could. He broke some barriers. So I think we have to give him his props for that. He is an 11-time NBA champion, which has not been duplicated. He's uh 5-time MVP, which is very few people have done that. He's one of, I believe, 3 people that have done that, and he was just he was the key cog to that Boston Celtics team. Even though they had a great Boston Celtics team with Bob Cousy, um, John Havlicek, their team was great. There was very few teams back then, so of course, uh, if you were good, you were good. So I have Bill Russell number 6, number 7, Wilt Chamberlain. I think his numbers speak for themselves. Fortunately, he's only a 2-time NBA champion, 4-time MVP, but he was elite. Um, and what really put me on to him was I asked my dad. There's very few. There's a little bit of clips out there, but there's not a whole lot of footage out there of him. But I asked my dad who was more dominant, him or Shaq, and he said Wilt easily. He didn't even have to think about it. So the fact that we think of Shaq as one of the most dominant players in this maybe last couple of generations, hearing that he was one of the most dominant players, puts in perspective. 7'1", scored 100 points in a game, which we still don't have the footage, but we're going to assume he did, and just was a physical beast. So Wilt at number 7. Number 8, I have Larry Bird. I just feel like Larry Bird gets disrespected. Yes, he didn't have a long career. Unfortunately, he had a bad back um, into his later years, but I still believe Larry Bird was one of the best players. Three-time NBA champ, three-time MVP, two-time Finals MVP. He was one of those few early on that shot the three ball and shot it well. Led one of the greatest teams of all time, that 1986 Boston Celtics. So I think he should get some love. And at number 9, I have Kobe Bryant. I It's hard to put Kobe somewhere because Kobe had the unfortunate uh, career of playing with alongside Shaq for most of his early career. So those successes kind of go to Shaq, but later on, and then he had his own team, which was trash for a little while, and then of course they got together with Phil. But I think Kobe should definitely be in your top 10. I just, he's only got one MVP, two Finals MVPs, but it's hard to place Kobe because he has some rough years with those Lakers teams, and having that, you can't really. It's hard to put him super high. So I got Kobe at 9, and number 10, I have Shaquille O'Neal. Now, originally, if you watch me and Big Nines back probably a year ago, I had Shaq as my number 5, but that was a huge bias because when I really looked at it, Shaq's peak was not as long as a great should be. He had that three-peat, which is hard to do with the Lakers. He was phenomenal. He was unstoppable, but he had a steep decline once after that. Those Laker years, yes, he had the Heat years. You can talk about Phoenix. He was okay, but he just had a steep decline. And somebody that's great, they have to have some type of longevity, and he just didn't have the longevity that I thought he should have. So, real quick: 6, Bill Russell; 7, Wilt Chamberlain; 8, Larry Bird; 9, Kobe Bryant; and 10, Shaquille O'Neal. So, any issues with those? My bottom tier of the top 10.
Nah, not at all. Only thing just really different about mine is I don't got Bill Russell in there, and I don't got Bird. I had to choose between Bird and Durant, and I picked Durant. But
Okay, well, we're going to hear I'm going to let you go. So let's hear your 6 through 10, real quick. And you don't have to give a long details about why you chose them, but if you'd like to, you can.
yeah, I'll do that because I kind of had stuff written down on why and all that. Because this is my first time naming up my top 10 too. But so I want to first start with like my criteria. So like what I count: the stats, accolades, championships, the records you hold. I know that you can't control this, but I do judge you by the competition you play against. I Not like always, but like it does matter to me. Um, how long you sustain your greatness, and then like just like your individual ability or skill set. And I'll get into that like when I get into the top 5 more. So my 6 through 10, 6 is Magic. He 5-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP, 3-time regular season MVP. He was a 10-time All NBA, 9 first team, 12-time All Star, 4-time assist champ, 2-time steals leader. Only player to average 20 points a game and 12 assists a game in a season. He did that twice. Uh, he won Finals MVP as a rookie. He spent the majority of his career in the finals. He's number 1 in assists in the playoffs, number 5 in assists in the regular season, but likely he would be number 1 by a wide margin. By a wide margin, like if he didn't have to retire, he probably would be number 1 in assists. Number 1 in assists per game in the regular season and playoffs, and he actually has the best. Like if you combine his regular season and playoff record, he has the best win percentage of all time.
Okay.
So okay, 7, Shaq, 4-time champion, 3-time Finals MVP, 1-time MVP, 14-time All NBA. He's a 15-time All Star. He got 2 scoring titles. In the 2000 and 2002 NBA playoffs, he led the entire playoffs in points, rebounds, and win shares in those playoffs. So he was averaging like 30 and like 15 rebounds. In my opinion, he has the second best finals performance ever in the 2000 finals, averaging 38 points a game, 16 rebounds a game, and 2 blocks a game on 61% from the field. But you kind of touched on it, but his downfall was pretty much like he couldn't sustain his dominance. And a big part of that was also because he was lazy, according to, himself and some of his teammates. But the 3 years from like 2000 to 2003, possibly the most dominant years from a player.
Mm-hmm.
And the NBA also legalized zone in large part because of him. And there was like, the Hack-a-Shaq and all that. So there was kind of rules to stop him from dominating. But, at his very best, it's hard to argue that anyone was better. His resume is just not steep enough to be ranked higher. 8. Now this one's kind of long, but Kobe, 5-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 1-time MVP. He is 12-time All Defense, 9-time First Team, 15-time All NBA, 18-time All Star. He does have 4 All Star MVPs, which is the record. He's a top 5 scorer ever. He's number 4 all time. He has 2 scoring titles. He scored the second most points ever in an NBA game with 81.
Mm-hmm.
He outscored an entire NBA team in 3 quarters when he was playing the Mavs. He's the only player outside of LeBron to score 3,000 points with 6,000 assists. He's one of 2 players to have 12 All-Defense teams, 12 All-Star selections, and 12 All-NBA selections. The other is Tim Duncan. Mm-hmm. He has the 3rd most All-Star selections, the 2nd most All-Defensive selections behind Duncan. He's tied for the most first-team All-Defense selections, tied for the 2nd most All-NBA selections with Kareem. He has the 2nd most first-team All-NBA selections. The only player with 3 straight playoff runs with scoring 600 or more points. He has 660 points. Yeah. I did a little bit of research, so he has 6 60-point games, 25 50-point games, and 122 40-point games. He averaged 40 in a month 4 times. The only player to do that outside of him was Wilt, and he did that. Wilt did it the most, which was 13 times. He has the 2nd most Player of the Month and Player of the Week awards behind LeBron. He's the only player outside of Jordan that averaged over 30 points a game and still made first team on defense. He beat 26 50-win teams, which is the most in NBA history. And from 2006 to 2010, he won 5 All-NBA first team and 5 All-Defensive first team selections. He had an MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, went to 3 straight finals, won back-to-back scoring titles, had 64 40-point games, 1 80-point game, 20 50-point games, 5 60-point games. His regular season averages were 29 5-5. His playoff averages were 35-5. But for me, the reason why I have him ranked 8th is he didn't.
Yeah, I'm about to say
he didn't spend enough time as the main guy, and his accolades, like 1-time MVP. I know a lot of that has to do with his, case or whatever, but that's a big reason. But that is a pretty steep resume.
Man, just listening to that list, how could he be 8 for you and 9 for me?
Yeah.
The people above him have to be really, really good when you break it down like that.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, just the accolades, and then like I have Shaq over him because those years. But Kobe sustained his longer. But so then I have Hakeem at 9. He's a 2-time champion, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's the only other player outside of Giannis to win Finals MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, if I'm not mistaken. He's the only player top 15 in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. 12-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defense, 3-time block champion, 2-time rebound champion. He was drafted number 1 ahead of Jordan, and pretty much nobody complains about it. He's the all-time leader in in blocks in the regular season. But I mean, obviously not if you count Russell and Wilt, because their blocks wasn't counted like that.
Yeah.
And then he over an 18-year span, he averaged 3 blocks a game, which is pretty insane. He's the only center in the top 64 in steals.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the best defenders of all time. He holds the record for single season blocks plus minus in the NBA playoff run. He helped Kobe, LeBron, and Giannis with post moves, which is just an added bonus. But kind of with the Shaq thing, I don't know that he was dominant for long enough. And then my 10th was Kevin Durant, and I said I had to pick between him and Larry Bird. And the reason I chose him over Larry Bird was just because I felt his individual ability. Like, I feel like he's a better player than Larry Bird. Like, I had to put one of them in, and I just chose him over Bird because I just feel like he's a better player. I feel like Bird had the better resume, but Durant was the better player. But Durant he's top 10 scorer ever, 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 4-time scoring champion, 1-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA. He has, I think, 17 seasons of averaging 25 points per game. I don't know if I'm right on that, but that's only behind LeBron.
Okay. I don't have it in front of me, but
I don't know if that's right. I think it might be less than that, but something like that. He's number 7 in playoff points. He's part of the 50-40-90 club. Now his resume isn't that long, but as I said before, I just chose him. Like I said, I count individual ability in that too.
Okay.
So as far as individual ability, and I think he's a top 5 individual talent and scorer. So that's kind of how I look at it. So I'll put him in the top 10.
Okay.
So
I mean,
revisit that: Magic, Shaq, Kobe, Hakeem, and Kevin Durant.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. Hakeem is a guy that I was kind of on the fence with. I think for me, based on the things you said, him and Shaq, I had Shaq number 10. I think they can be interchangeable because they both had a great peak, but they did have, I won't say a significant decline for Hakeem, but he wasn't the same player, those years after those championship years.
Yeah.
But, and this is a video I'm gonna do on my other channel, he was the lead of the hardest championship ever in the NBA, the hardest path to a championship in the NBA, those Houston Rockets. So he can say that. But I don't have no problem with him being in a top 10. I wanted to put him in there, but Shaq was just too good to leave out. And Kevin Durant, my only question is, do you think Kevin Durant is better than Steph Curry?
Yeah.
Okay.
He don't got a better. He don't have a better resume than Steph Curry.
But you think overall,
as a player, he's better.
As a player, as an individual player, you feel he's better than
and I, like I said, I include all that in my criteria. So just in his individual ability, that's why I put him over Bird.
Okay.
Bird would have been in my top 10, but I just think Durant's better.
Well, hopefully we'll get some people in the chat and we'll let them decide. I won't say, because I chose Bird over KD, but KD has a solid resume. I mean, you can't really deny what he's done, and he's still doing. I think the knock for Larry Bird is he kind of fizzled out pretty quickly, kind of like Magic. So it's hard. Some of those guys from the 80s are kind of hard to really judge because something happened that really derailed their careers. So they had great careers up to a certain point, while guys like KD has had a much longer career and
Yeah.
sustained his greatness. So you can go either way on that. So I guess we're going to continue to our top 5. I'm not gonna go too in depth. My man Sports Talk makes me feel bad because I didn't do my homework.
Because you kind of already did yours, so
Yeah,
it's
I did.
kind of
Well,
different.
that's what I was going to tell them. We did a top 5 show, probably like I said a year ago, where I kind of broke down why I put some players where they were. I had Shaq number 5, but he's not number 5 anymore. He's number 10. So I'll go real quickly through my top 5. My 5th pick now is Magic Johnson for all the reasons you said. I really penalized him because he had to leave early, but when I thought about it, the reason he had to leave early was unfortunate. So I shouldn't grade his career because it was cut short. I mean, those are things he could have fixed, or he could have not
Yeah.
done, but unfortunately things happen. But you just think about that decade, that them 80s years. He came in as a rookie, Finals MVP, took that Lakers team, even when Kareem got hurt, to a championship. That's crazy to think about. And just the fact that the Lakers were a staple for the most part in the I think the only other Western Conference teams that made it to the finals during that decade were the Houston Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. So they stayed in the finals throughout those 80s years, and probably if Magic could have kept on, they were there in 91. That team was not even close to some of those 80s teams, but with Magic and the things he could do, they could have maybe continued that success going forward. So I got Magic at number 5, and my criteria is pretty much I love winning. So if you're a winner, I'm going to put you high on my list. So that's why Magic has jumped the gun. But my number 4 is somebody I would love to put higher, and that's Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan, we don't value Tim Duncan like he should be because his numbers just aren't what some of the guys above him are, and he was probably never built to have those type of numbers, but he was a guy that was built to be a top guy that was just a winner. He was able to change his game when needed to help the team be successful no matter what. If he had to just be the defensive anchor, he was okay doing that and not getting the touches he once got as an offensive player. If he had to be the offensive player, as we saw in that execution of the New Jersey Nets, he could do it. If I'm Kenyon Martin, I would never show my face after what Tim Duncan did to them. But, a lot of people don't talk about him as an offensive weapon, but Tim Duncan, as the greatest power forward of all time, as many call him, and he should have that respect. He was an offensive weapon. He was a guy that was extremely efficient, number one, and he didn't have to have the ball all the time, but if you got it to him in his spot, he was going to get you some buckets. And he was one of those guys that were so unselfish where he would let Tony Parker take over the team. He would let Manu Ginobili take over the team. And later on he would let Kawhi take over the team. And he even was trying to pass it over to LaMarcus Aldridge. He was a guy that was so unselfish and I don't know him personally, but I don't think he had an ego. He was willing to do all the dirty work. He was willing to do whatever was needed to get that team a championship, and he did it. He did it well. He was 5-1, one of the highest. I don't have it in front of me, but one of the highest win percentages in the league all time, and never missed the playoffs while he was wearing a Spurs jersey. That's greatness in itself. So Tim Duncan is the number 4 player I have for all time. Number 3, it's going to cause some issues, but I have LeBron James at number 3. Like I said, I value winning. And what hurts him for me the most is the 4-6. I understand the competition he played. I understand that those years had some very, very good teams, those Spurs teams, of course, the dynasty Golden State Warriors. Even during that time, he had to face a tough Boston Celtics team. But 4-6 is just hard for me to put you as the greatest. He's made a great case. I mean, the longevity. You look at him now. I'm not watching the game, but he's probably got him another triple double, 4 triple doubles, I believe, in a row at age 39. That's ridiculous. So you can't fault him too much. I know people that don't even have him in his top 10. I don't understand how, because he's been the face of the NBA for 20 years almost. And that's even though he might not have to you been the best player, or he's let other guys get certain accolades, awards, whatever, but you can't deny who he has been and what he has done throughout his 22 years of still going. So I got LeBron James, 4 championships, 4 finals MVPs, 4 MVPs. He has the highest amount of points all time. He's in the top 10, I think, for a lot of stats. He's consistent, and consistency should have some merit when you're talking about greatest of all time. So LeBron James is number 3. Can he jump up to number 2? We'll see. But my number 2 is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I didn't respect him when I was younger and was watching him late 80s because he was old. But just going back and looking at how he played and the sky hook that was near impossible to stop, and the fact that he could hit it like a mid-range shot was ridiculous. He was able to win in Milwaukee, was able to win in Los Angeles with the Lakers. Yes, he had some rough times early on with the Lakers. It took Magic coming in to kind of drive that team back to the top, but I don't completely fault Kareem. He was a winner at every level. High school championships, UCLA in college championships, NBA championships, 6 championships, 6 MVPs. He has the most MVPs of all time for many years, until 2 seasons ago or so. He was the highest scoring player of all time. He's battled Wilt, won those games. Wilt couldn't handle him, even though Wilt did pretty good against him. But he was a guy. He was also a big time winner. Other than that little, between Milwaukee and his start in Los Angeles, he had a little rough patch there, but he still won an MVP and didn't even make the playoffs, which is absurd. So that shows you how good he is. Of course, number 1, even Adam Silver agrees, Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the greatest player of all time. His accolades speak for themselves. You can go back and watch that video we did in, I don't know when it was, but for the GOATcast podcast, we did our top 5. Michael Jordan, I listed why I thought he was the GOAT. 5-time MVP, 6-0 in the finals, 6 finals MVPs, 3-peated twice. Left, came back and won championships after that. 10 scoring titles. He's a defensive player of the year. Very few perimeter players have that accolade. He globalized the game. He was the guy that took it to the next level, and he's the reason why the game is where it is right now. So Michael Jordan is the GOAT. So I'm gonna pass it back to my man Sports Talk. I know I took a lot of time, but and let me list my top 5 really quick. Number 1, Michael Jordan. Number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 3, LeBron James. Number 4, Tim Duncan. And number 5, Magic Johnson.
Okay. So my 5th is Tim Duncan. He was a 5-time NBA champion, a 3-time Finals MVP, a 2-time MVP. He was a 15 All NBA, 15 All Star selections, and 15 All Defensive selections. He never missed the playoffs in a 19-year career. Uh, he's number 6 in rebounds, number 5 in blocks, 15th in points. He has 164 playoff double doubles, which is the most. He has the record for the most victories for a player with one team, which is 1,001 wins. And in the years he played, the 19 years he played, the Spurs had a 71 win percentage. They won 15 games in each of his last 17 seasons. He holds the Spurs record for points, rebounds, blocks, minutes, and games. He's a part of the most winning trio in NBA regular season history. And that's pretty much it. My fourth is Wilt. Now, I know I said I value competition. This might be the only outlier because, I don't feel he played really all that strong competition. Even putting up some of the numbers he put up was against guys that, I don't know. I wouldn't say I don't respect him, but it's definitely not the competition of today or the more
Bill
modern
Russell,
time.
Bill Russell, Kareem.
Yeah, but he wasn't pay less. It just wasn't the competition of the day.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I say I have him, why he's an outlier for me, is because, like I said, competition, it does matter. But I feel like he, in any era, now I don't think he would be put up the numbers he put up back then now, but I feel like he would be, record breaking and still doing some of the same things he did back then if he existed now. So that's why he's like the only guy on my that kind of it doesn't kind of apply to, because there was 8 teams in the leagues back then. Like, we just got to be real. But okay, let me just get on with his resume. 2-time NBA champion. He's a Finals MVP, 4-time MVP. He was 11-time rebounding champion. He had 7 scoring titles, 1 assist title, and I think he might be the only player to win a scoring title, an assist title, and a rebounding title. 30-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA. For a 14-year career, his averages were 30 points a game, 22 rebounds, and 4 assists. Rules were changed to stop him from dominating. He has 4 playoff runs of 30 plus points a game and 20 rebounds a game. He averaged 37 points a game and 27 rebounds a game as a NBA rookie. He has 7 NBA seasons of 30 points a game, 1 NBA season of 44 points a game, averaged 50 points a game, and 25 rebounds a game his 3rd NBA season. 12 NBA seasons of 20 rebounds a game. And a good majority of his stats weren't recorded. Steals, blocks, Finals MVPs, and all defensive teams came late in his career, so we really don't know what he would really have. He's the all-time leading rebounder. He's 7th in all-time scoring. He's pretty much tied with Jordan for first in points per game. He averaged 40 in a month 11 times, which I mentioned. He scored 100 in a game, and it's said that if all stats were recorded in his time, he would have 800 triple doubles and 78 double doubles.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane.
From 1960 to 66, his regular season averages were 39 points a game and 24 rebounds a game. His playoff averages were 32 points a game and 26 rebounds per game. His he sacrificed a lot of those stats so that he could win a championship. So you see, like in his later years, you saw his numbers drop, and that's really the only reason why his numbers dropped. He stopped playing that way because it wasn't leading them to wins. Pretty much, they say he also was like he had to hold back his strength to avoid seriously damaging people. And then
I heard that. Yeah.
for me, his only downfall, which was something I mentioned, something he had no control over, was the league he was playing in. But I just feel like if he was playing today, he'd be putting up insane numbers too. So,
Absolutely.
and hold on 1 second, I gotta go on mute real quick.
Okay. So once sports thoughts get back, he'll finish up. So those were his 4 and 5, Wilt and Tim Duncan. So I think we know. I mean, if the 3 names that I'm sure are about to be called aren't in your top 3, you're insane. So I believe he's back.
Yeah, I am. So it's Jordan at 3.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go
Uh,
mute real quick because I'm gonna let you.
I mean, you knew he wasn't getting the number 1 spot either way. So
I knew that, but 3, man. But I can't say nothing. I had LeBron number 3, so
yeah,
let you go.
obviously. I mean, I don't really think I got to name off too many of his stuff, other than 6-time champion, 6-time Finals MVP, 5-time MVP, 10 scoring titles. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I have him under Kareem in a minute here, but 3-time steals champ, slam dunk champion, defensive player of the year, 9-time first team all defense, 11-time all NBA. He was 10-time first team, 14-time all star. He averaged 40 points a game in 5 different NBA playoff series. Averaged 41 points per game in the NBA finals. He holds the record for points per game regular season and playoffs. Only
Goat.
4 times only 4 times as a player won regular season MVP, first team all NBA, first team all defense, and finals MVP in the same season. Jordan did it all 4 times. He played all 82 games 9 times. The Bulls never lost 3 games straight from 1990 to 98 when he was on the roster. He had 2 seasons of 200 steals and 100 blocks. He averaged 35 and won Defensive Player of the Year. Only player to win Defensive Player of the Year and the scoring title in the same season. And I think individually, he's more talented than every player except LeBron. Now I'm gonna go Kareem, and I'm gonna justify Kareem. 6-time champion, 6-time MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, but the only reason why he didn't get Finals MVP is because he didn't show up to the game because he was injured. And I also read that they kind of like blackballed him from getting the Finals MVP somewhere. It was in a book, something like that.
I
Anyways,
mean, he was an activist, so I could see them kind of.
Yeah, they kind of agreed that they wasn't gonna give it to him.
Yeah,
So I don't know if he was really the Finals MVP of that series, so it really should be 3 because he was averaging 33 and 13.
Yeah.
So, but then anyways, 19-time All Star, which is second most. 15-time All NBA, which is tied for second most. He was 11-time All Defense. He was a 4-time block champion. He had 2 scoring titles. He was a rebound champion. He's one of 3 players to win Finals MVP on more than one team. Other 2 is Kawhi and LeBron. He was the all-time leading scorer for 4 decades. He's top 4 in points, blocks, and rebounds. And like I said, he was the all-time leading scorer. Now, this is what really, one of the things that really puts him at that top. He won Finals MVP at age 38. That's pretty insane. But
I can't deny that. That is insane. Having somebody, especially a center at 38, winning Finals MVP.
He's the all-time leader in win shares. He averaged for 2 decades. He averaged 24 points a game and 11 rebounds. He's got the most MVPs, the oldest Finals MVP ever. He was banned from dunking, so he invented an unstoppable shot. And I don't really know. It's hard to say. Well, if you want to count college, he had the greatest career from high school to college to the NBA. That's not really arguable.
Oh.
And then it doesn't hurt that he fought Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And then
he was 2-sport champion.
and then his consistency and dominance for long periods of time, as well as the combination of accolades, puts him over Jordan. I don't think he's a better individual player than Jordan. I think Jordan is like better by a bit, but I think because I value, the ability to sustain what you do and the records and accolades, I put his resume over Jordan's, and I'm going by the entire resume, not just who's the better individual talent. So I put him second. Now, obviously, LeBron's at number one.
Who's
I
number
kind of
one?
you know who's number one. LeBron. I mean, I don't. It's really a lot, and I kind of don't feel like doing all that. But I'm not gonna name off everything.
I mean, we've heard you talk about it because I think I asked you this question on one of our other streams about what made him the GOAT, and you specified. I can't remember which actual episode, but I'll try to add it to the description. But keep going because I'm sure you have plenty to say about your GOAT, LeBron.
The 4-time champion, 4-time Finals MVP. Got 3 Finals MVPs on 3 different teams that won't ever be duplicated. 4-time MVP. He's the only player outside of Bill Russell to have 4 MVPs in a 5-year span. He's got 20 All NBA teams and 20 All Star selections, which is both the record. And the only time he didn't make either team was his first year in the NBA. He had 13 first team All NBA, which is the record, and it's actually the same as the next 3 best players of his generation: Kawhi, Curry, and Durant. Which I'm pretty sure people would say those are the best 3 of his generation. They got 13 combined, first team. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is just too much to name off.
So he's just that good. He's just that good.
No, I just don't feel like I got like a whole list.
I feel you.
I don't really
we'll
feel like naming off all that stuff.
Maybe we'll have to do like me and Big Nige did and do the GOAT debate where you can.
We may have to because it's like, I
We'll
don't.
do a part 2.
Okay, I could. Most seasons averaging, like I go on and on, but I could say most seasons averaging 25 points a game. He's top 10 in points, assists, steals, and 3-pointers made. The only player top 5 through 10 in points and assists in the regular season and playoffs. He's the only player in NBA history that's top 100 in every single stat.
That's
40,000 points in the regular season, 8,000 in the playoffs, and the record for most points in both. He's number 1 in 14 different playoff categories, number 2 and 3, number 6 and 2, number 10 and 1, only player top 10 in every single playoff stat. Only player with 500 double doubles and 100 triple doubles. Most playoff buzzer beaters, points, steals, wins, series wins, field goals, free throws, best playoff plus minus, best playoff value over replacement, most playoff win shares, won 20 shares without a top 75 teammate. I'm not going to keep going. You get the point.
Hey, tell them. Let them know.
Okay, the only forward top 48 in assists per game. He's the only forward top 48 in assists per game. The only non-guard top 26 in assists per game. Most assists in assists per game by NBA forward. Generated the most points, has the most clutch shots, owns the most clutch NBA season since the data was tracked. It was tracked since 1996. That was in 2018. He owns the highest scoring average for 3 different franchises. He scored 1,000 versus every NBA team except the Cavs and Lakers. He dropped 40 versus every NBA team. He's led his team in all 5 categories in 10 different playoff series, 4 stats in 17 different playoff series, and 3 stats in 3 different playoff series. Yeah, he owns a bunch of records, pretty much. Won 3 different teams, one with his own system. He beat a 73-win team, too, in the finals. He led both teams and everything. The greatest finals performance ever. And there was something else. In the Steve Kerr era, he's the only player to eliminate the Warriors before getting to the finals.
Interesting.
There's only 2 players in NBA history that have 4 championships and 4 finals MVPs. So this is which, I would put Jordan at 2. I'm thinking maybe I should, but I'm trying to, between him and Kareem is kind of hard to choose for me. But there's only 2 players, that's LeBron and Jordan. If you look at the top 10 best statistical postseason, LeBron and Jordan each got 5 of them in the top 10 since the NBA merger, and LeBron's got the number 1 playoff run, which is 2009.
And it keeps going. He's done it all.
Only player to play and be listed at all 5 positions. One of 5 players in NBA history. He was. He played. He's the only player.
I'm sure. I mean, he's got the build and the game to do that.
One of 5 players in NBA history to lead his team in every statistical category in the regular season. The other 4 are Kevin Garnett, Dave Cowens, Giannis, and Scottie Pippen. He's one of 7 players in NBA history to win both a scoring title and an assist title. Led his team in points, rebounds, and assists 48 times in the playoffs. The next closest is Bird with 13. Led his team in points, rebounds, and assists in the NBA Finals 7 times.
But Bird wasn't top 10.
Yeah. Nah, he's not better individually than Durant, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I mean, okay.
I would pick Durant over him.
Okay. I mean, this is how we're going to structure the show. We're going to let everybody get there, who they think is what, and we're not going to hate on that.
No, I get it.
Yeah, we're going to let them, so that's going to be our pool. Those are the players that we are going to have different topics as we go forward. So if we want to go through our top 10s real quick, I had Jordan 1, Kareem 2, LeBron 3, Duncan 4, Magic 5, Bill Russell 6, Wilt Chamberlain 7, Larry Bird 8, Kobe Bryant 9, and Shaq 10. And I got your list. If you want me to read your list off, or you want to go through it,
I got it. LeBron at 1, Kareem at 2, Jordan at 3, Wilt at 4, Tim Duncan at 5, Magic at 6, Shaq at 7, Kobe at 8, Hakeem at 9, and Kevin Durant at 10.
Okay. So those will be. I try to get Big Nige. I mean, he's got his top 5. Try to get him to come on so we can have an even bigger pool, because I'm not sure who he has 6 through 10 at all. But for right now, that's who we're going to pick from. And that's who we're going to kind of structure our show around. We're going to do topics on those guys, comparative topics, topics on an individual, whether it's Jordan, LeBron, whoever else. I know we still have to speak on some of the topics you sent me before. I think that'll be our next show. You kind of touched on it with your top 10, the greatest playoff performances. We're going to go through that coming up, and also the 6 losses disqualify certain players from the GOAT debate.
Why are you saying certain players?
I mean, not a whole lot of those guys in that have 6 losses in the finals, but you can add in Shaq's got the most sweeps of all time. Jordan's been swept plenty of times early in his career. So we'll have some different topics where we'll kind of dive into some of those things and how they can subtract from their greatness, or things that could add to their greatness. I think you did a great job of listing all of the greatness of your top 10, and a lot of those were my top 10 too. I think the only thing we disagreed on was I had Bill Russell and Larry Bird. You had Kevin Durant and Hakeem. You can't go wrong with none of those guys. So any questions or anything you
I
have?
do have a question. What do you think about the Cavs? They're still undefeated.
I think the Cavs are great. I think they definitely have to avoid any type of injury. As long as they do that, they're going to be a tough team to beat. I mean, you have a all-star front court and all-star back court. What team has that other than maybe Boston?
Just put up 144 points.
The Cavs?
Yes.
Good luck beating that team. That team is the best offensive team we've seen in a long time. If they just put up 144 points, I know they're the best three-point shooting team. They have the best field goal percentage in the whole league right now, and they're undefeated. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 14-0. That's I honestly, I mean, even when we were talking about teams coming into this season, nobody was talking about the Cavs.
No. I thought they'd be a fun team to watch, but I didn't think they would be 14-0.
And here's something else. The Bulls made 23s on 50% and got blown out.
What was the final score? How many points?
126 to 144.
That's insane. That's kind of crazy. Defensively for Cleveland, that's their only kind of issue. But as long as they can continue to score, I mean that
they've been killing.
It doesn't matter, And they have two big men who don't mind playing defense.
They look
Mobley and Jared Allen. So
they look like the best team right now.
Yeah, Boston might be in some trouble. That might be
the league might be in trouble.
I don't want to say that they're, but everybody from last year seems somewhat doesn't seem as good as they were. So other than Cleveland looks way better than they were last year, and all it took was a coaching change. So I mean that might be your champions, your 2025 champions, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That'd be crazy.
So who do you have winning the NBA Cup, the coveted NBA Cup?
I don't really know.
No, does anybody care?
Matter to me.
That's the question. Does anybody care?
I mean, the players that get that extra $500,000 do.
But so you think LeBron cared for that extra? I mean, yeah, it was nice, but
yeah,
for LeBron is like $5. For us, it would be life-changing.
I mean, he also said that he wanted to win it last year because he got all his people paid, the rookies on the team, all that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure he's looking out for him. It's looking out for the little men out there, But for him, it's like $500,000. That's $5 in the. I'm gonna put that in my wallet.
I mean, but do people? I also think teams care to an extent because they want to have a motivation to play a little harder even during the season.
Yeah. Now for me, my thought process for the NBA Cup was a team like Milwaukee, who's struggling right now, winning that I think would help them. And teams kind of in that similar situation, maybe Dallas or Denver and teams like that are kind of struggling, but to be able to get to that level, I mean, it is somewhat of a motivation, and it does kind of spark up your other players to play a little better and to be, if they get that extra $500,000, that amps them up. They're going to be wanting to play even harder since they got that little bonus come Christmas time. So.
And even if you watch the games, they kind of, I think they playing harder. Like in the beginning of the season, you compare some of them games to once the cup start.
Yeah, now they did that last year. I hope they do that this year because that Group C out west with what was it, Denver, Dallas, the Pelicans. I can't remember the other teams. Memphis and team I can't think of. That team, and it's another good team, but that group is phenomenal. Even the group West Group B with the Lakers, Phoenix, I think isn't OKC out there? OKC. I mean, those are going to be some good games, and if they really are serious about it, it's going to be some competitive basketball. Of course, there's a lot of injuries. KD's out for a while, and no Chet. The Pelicans are missing their whole entire team, it seems. But yeah. If anything, and I don't know if that incentive is enough to make the NBA Cup that meaningful for some players, but if they can somehow get that to happen, I think the NBA is better for it because these early games are kind of, and they've been saying the numbers are down, but there's so many games, and it's hard to watch 2 or 3 games a night. It's just, especially early on, it's just not. There's nothing really they're playing for other than racking up early wins.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So
But I just think that some of the intensity of these games have been like in general you don't get that intensity until like around April and May with some of those games that I've watched. And I'm like, yeah, so they taking it serious. The players are out there trying to win.
But
now,
I was
just gonna say, as far as like the fans, I don't know, the fans might not care, but I see the players actually taking it serious and trying to get that. I don't know if you would call it a cup, whatever.
Yeah. For me, that's what I want to see. I want to see the players actually show up and act like this is a game they have to win. And if that's what the NBA Cup can do, that's it's serving its purpose. I mean, last year was good. I thought it was a cool little concept. I thought Giannis played out of his mind. Milwaukee, even though Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers played out of their mind. LeBron had them Lakers playing like they were trying to win a championship. That was what made it fun because the teams did seem to take it serious, especially ones that made it out of the group play that played into the knockout rounds and then the semifinals and the finals. They all played like it was a game that they had to win. These were games they had to win. And doing my research, I think every game counts towards their record other than the championship game. So technically they are games they need to win for their record. So I like the concept. I just hope the teams and players take it seriously. And I'll watch. I mean, it's going on right now. And you said Cleveland scored 144. So they're playing. They're serious. So they want to win.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just hope the Tuesday. I think it's the Tuesdays and Friday nights. I think that, like I said, I think it's a cool concept. I just hope that the teams and players and teams won't sit players because you can't play back to back or you can't play this or that, and actually take it serious and let those guys compete, which is all we want to see, the best playing the best. And that's all I ask for.
Yeah, pretty much.
So any more GOAT talk? So next, because I'm not sure your schedule, I said we will try to do these. I was thinking maybe bi-weekly, maybe not weekly, but once every 2 weeks or whatever. What's your thoughts? You got any thoughts about what you want to talk about on the next one? Since we've established who our GOATs are.
I could email you that.
Okay, so we'll talk about that offline.
As far as bi-weekly, that might work better.
Okay, so yeah, we'll try to. Yeah, I think that'll work well for me as well. Just doing these bi-weekly, and And so now that you guys know who we think are top 10 on both sides, are there any guys that you feel like are fringe guys that we could kind of throw in there as well? I think Steph, I hate leaving Steph out because I think he is
I'll
one of
say
the greatest.
he top 15.
I think he's top 15. Yeah.
Yeah. Bird and I mean, really, I should put him in the top 10, but like I said.
So yeah, I think we can throw Steph in there. That might be the only one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Okay. So if you have nothing else, we're going to go ahead and finish up for tonight. Appreciate you guys. I saw people in here. We didn't quite get any. Oh yeah, the one thing I did want to do, my man Flex on him, who you talked to earlier, dropped his in the community tab, his top 10. So I'm gonna read off his top 10. So he had Jordan, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem in his top 5, I'm assuming. And his next section, from what he said, it was LeBron, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain, and Shaq. And he said, sorry, but you have to be over 500 in the finals to be a top 5 all-time player. Any thoughts on that? I know you said you told him to come on tonight, and unfortunately we didn't get him on here. But any thoughts on Flex on him's top 10 all time and his reasoning for top 10?
I mean, that I would say that's not good enough. Like, you see how I went in detail with it. I mean, if that's his only criteria, then I guess that's his only criteria.
So you think even if you're not 500 in the finals, you could still carve a career that is top 5 all time? Obviously do, because your number one person is LeBron.
Yeah, but you got him third though. So I mean, you think so too.
I value winning, but I also value your value to the game and your value to the NBA.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I mean, you think that too. You can be top 5 and not.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
exactly.
Now you're asking, do I, as far as why I have him number 1?
No, I'm just saying. I was just, that was just saying, because you point out I have him there too. So obviously, we think you can be under 500 in the finals and still be a top 5 NBA player. I mean, if you have and some people don't like stats, but you have the stats, you have the accolades, you have all of those things in line. I mean, there's really no denying that you are.
But this thing has become, for me, like, I don't know when it became a thing where we just judge players off the finals and the finals alone and not their entire resume. Now, I can understand if you say, I can understand, if you have your reasoning for why you don't, because we all have our reasons, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's just become a fine, or from what I'm hearing from most people when I have this discussion, it's become just his finals record. And I understand if you say, and this is what I'll give you. So I'm gonna make a video on this in probably like next year sometime. But I would give you the 2011 finals, because that's the finals he didn't play well, like where his team was, I would say, like, as long as he showed up, they would have won. There's no denying that. So I'll give you the 2011 finals. If you want to say that, want to argue that, I'm not going to argue that. But for me, 6 finals losses is just too broad, because if we're just going to say that and remove all context, this is a big reason why, like, if you have an argument with like a LeBron fan, you might be like talking about Jordan was this and that without Scottie Pippen, because context.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm about to make a video about that, but yeah, there's context to this, and I agree with you. Like, you can't penalize him too much, because, as you said, there's context to it. And you have to look outside of the championships and the NBA Finals.
But
There's
no, but
things he's done beyond that.
yeah, and I just feel like that argument's used too much. But like, if you want to say 2011 finals, fine. He didn't show up. He had a good enough team. If he showed up, they probably would have smoked the Mavs in like 5 games. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like that, and even the reason why he played the way he played, like I got the reason why. You know, I'm not gonna go there with you right now because it's a lot of people say it's just a lot of people say it's just because the stage was too big, but it's I actually have like the real reason why. But I'm just saying, as far as like, I just hear that argument too much about his finals record, and I'm like, that's basketball is a team sport, and they're at least, if you want to pin, I mean, because some people do penalize him versus the Spurs when he was 22 years old. Some people will say that. So if you want to say 2011 and 2007, which a lot of people will give him a pass for 2007, but whatever the case, you could look at the other 4 finals that he played, 2014, 15, 17, and 18, and it's not like he choked or like he played horrible and they lost because of what he didn't do. So that's why I don't really like that argument, because like, you can play, it's a team sport, and you can play as good as you want to play, but if your team is not better or not good enough to win versus the other team, then you're going to lose. And that's just reality, and that's why I don't take that argument too serious.
Yeah, I mean, I can, if you really break it down and think about it, I can understand that argument, because the one thing, well, this is something I preach to my son. He plays basketball. If you lose and you put up, you did what you were supposed to do, it's technically not your fault, but maybe you didn't do exactly what you needed to do to get that team to win. That's kind of how I phrase it to him. But there's just circumstances where you're just outmatched, or it's just not your time or not your series. Teams play above and beyond, and you listed off all of his accolades in both regular season and playoffs, so those speak for themselves. We'll discuss this at some point, but I mean, the 4 and 6 for me is not a deal breaker. I know for some it is. For me, it's not, because I just think you got to put it into context, some of that, and also you look at the other things he did, and you can't deny those numbers. Certain numbers you can't deny. So you got to give people props or give them their flowers when they do things that not many people can do, and do them at a high level, and do it on a high level for a while. So that's kind of where I come, why I have him so high, even though he has the 4 and 6, has that 2011 loss, but the things he's done throughout his career, there's no denying. They're in 4K for the most part, so you can't really take that from him.
And that's kind of like what, like, you got an outlier, and then I got like an outlier with Wilt. So it's like,
yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much the way I view it, because like that's the only argument I hear, and like, like I said, it's a team sport, and like I said, if people, like, if you say the 2011 final, I'm not gonna say, like, I might disagree and say that that's whatever the case, he could have played better. We know he could have played better, but the reality is, like, you say that, I'm not gonna be like, try to argue against it in a way where I'm like, saying he didn't show up.
I mean, people point to the 95 Bulls versus Orlando Magic. I mean, you can make all the excuses you want, but Mike lost and those Bulls lost. So, it was a blemish No, he didn't play the whole season, but he was there. He was putting up numbers. He had the opportunity to get it done. He didn't get it done, So if I'm, and I feel that's only fair. If you want to discredit somebody, you got to be willing to accept that same discredit for the player you're trying to, you're trying to point out their greatness, because if they did something that wasn't GOAT like, you gotta accept that you have to accept them, not doing the things that they were supposed to do to get it done. So,
but see, and this, I kind of respect you more than the average Jordan fan. You're more fair. You're more reasonable. I mean, I don't hear the logical things that, I mean, I'm sure you've seen them, but I'm saying you don't make those arguments yourself. And I'm just be like some of the stuff these people be saying, I just be like, what are you talking about? They just be making stuff up and then be like, we just supposed to believe it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I probably know some of the people you're talking about.
And you don't, and like, and this is the thing too, like, you don't even have LeBron at number one, but like, I don't even care. Like, that's your list. But see, what I run into is like people, like me putting LeBron at number one is a problem. Or if you make up a lie about LeBron, like, and then I say, I correct the lie. Now something's wrong with me. I'm getting called out my name and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because, or, like, it's like me and you are not at odds because our lists are different. You catch what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no.
But with,
that's the thing. You got to respect everybody's opinion. That's what it is. It's opinion.
But what I'm saying is the majority that I've run into, if you don't have Jordan at number one, it's like, you committed a crime, or you didn't assassinate their mom or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we have people that ride for, that harder than some people, and I understand it, because I feel the same way. He's the GOAT, but you got to, you in a sense, you got to be logical. Like, you can't. My biggest thing is, you can't act like you know these players, because you don't. And that's the key for some of this. You try to take it into, like, his mentality, his what he thinks, what he's doing. Yes, hold up. Am I good? Okay.
Yeah.
There's certain. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, there's certain things that numbers don't lie, and that's the key. That's what I always have to come back to, is when I go back and look at the numbers, I can't make up stuff and say, well, he was playing during this era, or he was playing during this or that. If you put those numbers up, you put those numbers up. So you did it. You're great. I mean, Wilt did it. I didn't see it. It was only 8 teams, but he did it. That's hard to do. Nobody's ever done it again. Kobe 81, nobody's done it. So, when you talk about their mental state and just, what they've done or what they haven't done, and I don't treat it as if I know those players specifically, but I have to go by what they've done and what I've seen, and the numbers and all of that. So if the numbers don't lie, then I can't make up why they why they did this or that. They did it. So you can't, we could say this era soft, we can say this era is whatever, but at the end of the day, if you're still doing what you need to do in this era, you're great at it. So
yeah,
that's just my mentality when it comes to that.
Yeah, and that should be the logical response to anyone. But like, hey, it's not. And I deal with pretty. I ain't gonna say it's not all that bad. Like, it's not like this is my life and stuff, but it's just kind of ridiculous how I can. It's like no logic it's not logic. It's just like narratives and like all stuff that you can.
Yeah.
I'm sure even you could debunk it.
Yeah.
You're not even the biggest LeBron dude, but like you could like the stuff I be seeing, you could debunk it, and it'd be like what are you talking about? Like you just making stuff up. That's all I'm saying. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, if there's numbers to back it up, you can't really you can't knock it because as they say, numbers don't lie. I mean, you can't really you can put it into context, but even then it's hard to do that when it's in your face what they've done. But maybe we need to get you a debate partner on here to so you can debunk some things. We'll try to set that up at some on one of these.
a debate partner. What you mean?
I mean, just somebody, a Jordan fan that might have some things to say that differ from you, and that you might want to
Yeah,
give your
but
side, or give your truth.
man,
And
it's for me. Like I said, it's not even. You don't have to have a bonus to go. That's just an opinion. But like I said, when you just making up stuff and you doing everything to just discredit and most of the time it's just talking negative about everything that LeBron didn't do, and then be like, I'm gonna compare negatives to only Jordan's positives. And then I'm like, well, of course somebody's gonna look like the GOAT if you just talking about everything they didn't do, and then you talk about everything this other guy did do. And you don't
I agree.
like I don't know. I don't sit here and say, oh man, just Jordan missed a shot on this day and and he turned the ball over on this day and he got dunked on this day and he only scored this much, he shot this percentage. I'm like, these dudes have memorized literally everything, every game, every moment, took everything from the media and been like, every time I have a discussion, they be like, explain this game where he shot 3%. I be like, like, what are you talking about, dude? They be
Well, I do.
nitpicking everything. I'd be like, man, you doing too much. They memorize it to the it's like seared into their heads. I don't know. It's just weird.
I mean, people are passionate about this game and about these players and about these eras, so I get it. I am too. I had to disagree with Goat James Kingdom. I think you actually were in those comment section. The last one he did, I think he posted it today at some point or last night, something like that. About the '90s and the debunking Shaq saying that the '90s were better to watch than the current era, and stuff like that. I get, but I think for me, and I think what I said in those comments was, we can do this for any era. We can talk about the bad in this era. We can talk about the bad in the 2000s, 2010s, the 90s, 80s, 60s, 70s, whatever. And then say, oh, well, they did this in this era. But just the one thing I would like to see more is us to be real and be like, well, that was the decade I enjoyed watching. So I believe that's the best decade. Does that mean I have any tangible evidence that it was better? No, because you can't really, there's no way you can say the 90s were better than this era, the current era is better than the 90s. You can't do it because they're completely different games, completely different players, rules, all of that. So just enjoy what you enjoy. And if you want to, I mean, I do videos all the time where I may downplay in some ways a player or something like that to uplift the 90s or whoever, but I try to put some kind of disclaimer in there. I have a whole series on LeBron James against certain players, and a lot of times LeBron James, where I break it down into 3 different categories, and most people think, well, obviously Kevin Durant was better than LeBron James, but when I break it down, no, LeBron was actually better in most of their series. There might have been, some playoffs and stuff where he's better, but no, but altogether, if you break down their regular season, playoffs, and just their accolades and stuff like that, he's not.
Yeah.
So, when you, I don't know how to say it, but if you bring some reality to it and just really break it down and really look at it, the real comes out, and so and we still can have our biases. We can still say this is better than this, but you actually break it down, and actually look at the numbers and look at what they actually did. There's footage, there's number. Basketball Reference is great, and I use that a lot. So you can really break them down and really show and see what these guys have done against each other, and what even errors. I broke that down in that video we did with the group we had. It's not that far off between the 90s and most of the current era. Most of the numbers aren't that far off. So they were both great eras. So enjoy them. If you don't like watching threes, which I don't like them just shooting threes, but I still enjoy the game today. So, enjoy what you like and respect everybody else's opinions. That's how I feel.
Yeah, man. But hey, it'd be a perfect world if everybody was like that or like you. But it's
Well, but that's what makes YouTube. It's what make these videos and these streams fun, is when you have passionate people doing talking their game and what they think. So
man,
that's what helps us grow. These channels grow
yeah.
is
I
these
mean, but
guys
I'll be
know.
having to just like block dudes from my channel because I got LeBron as the GOAT, and they'll be like, okay, I disagree, but I ain't calling people out their name, and then like these dudes would be calling me
Yeah.
out my name just because I got LeBron. I'll be like, what? Like, I don't
Oh
know,
man,
man.
I
I know
I
how to
mean
block dudes.
I've deleted some. I've had to delete plenty of comments over. They call you stupid. They call you this. You don't know basketball. You don't know this. You're a novice. You're a casual. All that stuff. I mean, even when I'm, the one I did about the defense with LeBron and Mike, I was sticking up for Mike, and I had plenty of people in there talking about, what are you talking about? There's no comparison. Why are you even post
Yeah,
this?
but do you see where I'm coming? Like, I get there.
Yeah,
There's unreasonable fans everywhere, but you can just make a video. You just made a video comparing their defense, and you think Jordan's a better defender,
yeah,
but you're
and I
getting
got
attacked.
yeah,
You're getting
exactly.
attacked, and you're getting hated for doing that. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they think this, there's no brainer. Why'd you even this was a stupid video. Why'd you even waste your time doing this? We already know it's Jordan. Well, I'm like, I see, those saying one way or the other. I was just trying to do a comparative video where you really look at the stats and look at things and break it down. What's wrong with that? You can do that for any player, just about, as long as they're, a certain stature. You're not going to do that with Danny Green and LeBron James, no. But certain players you can do that with. If you're Shaq level, if you're LeBron level, Mike level, Tim Duncan level, you can compare those players and look at the numbers and look at what they did, look at the footage, all of that. And I'm gonna say this, and this might be controversial. Accolades are great, but they don't tell the full truth. Because I'm doing a video about Kobe versus the same kind of thing, the defensive thing, Kobe and Dwayne Wade. When you look at some of the numbers, I know everybody's gonna be like, that's dumb. Kobe obviously is the better player or the better defender. You look at some of the numbers, you'll be surprised that D Wade wasn't a bad defender. He had higher stats, better stats in certain defensive stats than Kobe did. So, it's just, and I know defensive very subjective, but when you put up the numbers, as I always say, numbers don't lie. So and I feel you on that. I hate that people will hate on anything just because they don't even take time to really listen to what you're saying, to even try to get the context of what you're saying. They just immediately go into attack mode, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
and that's crazy.
pretty much, man. That's
But this is where we want that kind of talk. We want y'all to come in and y'all can be on the offensive, you can be on the defensive, but we want you guys to come in and just, we're gonna just talk GOAT talk. So if you hate what we're talking about, come in and let us know what you hate on. If you agree with what we're saying, come in and let us know why you agree. So that's kind of why I made this, because we tried on the Tuesday show, or well, it'll be another day possibly now, but we're trying to do more current events, current basketball, talking about what's going on currently in the NBA. But here we just want to, have specific topics and specific things we discuss, and kind of, I didn't do my homework tonight, but our next ones I will do some homework and make sure we can, kind of have something as far as some GOAT talk. What's up, young GOAT? Appreciate you showing up. You missed all the top 10. we already went through the top 10, but we appreciate you coming by. Hopefully, you'll come back by next time we have this show, and we can you can interact with us on whatever topic we're discussing at that time. But we appreciate you stopping by, young GOAT.
that's really his name.
That's what it is. YVNG GOAT. Matter of fact, if you're still in here with a young GOAT, who's your top 10 all time? Let us know. You can I have the link up there if you want to drop into the on stage with us, or you can just type who your top 10 all-time players, NBA players are, and let us know.
There's something I was gonna say. Oh, what day would the Tuesday show move to?
Big Nine said maybe Mondays. Because my son, he's playing high school basketball, and their games are usually Tuesdays and Fridays, but they're early enough to where Fridays I can do this time. And I can do Tuesdays, but it would be for him, he can't really do it late, so we try to do it at a time where he can get on. So Mondays and some Wednesdays would probably be best. He said Mondays, so I'm gonna get back with them and see if that's the day we're going to choose. But yeah, it'll likely be Monday or later Tuesday if I can talk him into doing that.
Do you have days where he like available? Well, I guess he only available like once a week. Cause I kind of want to have him. Yeah.
Oh, you want him to come on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have
Yeah,
the trio.
I'll talk to him. He can. I mean, Fridays he can do it. He's usually, doing his thing. He'll get on me, but he's on his PS5 playing some 2K. So
I mean, whatever days he could work, I could probably try to find a way to.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to. I'll talk to him and get him to come on. He can. I'm sure. I'll tell him we're going to do this bi-weekly, so he can show up. At least sometimes, I'll try to get him on the next one, for sure. And I'll make sure he gets on some of these. So Big Nigel will be on GOAT Talk only in the future. I'll pull rank and make him come on here.
Okay.
In the future. But yeah, like I said, I think for the other show, we'll probably do Mondays for a little while.
Okay.
Mondays don't work for you?
I mean, as of right now, I don't know what's really gonna work. Okay. Just being honest.
Yeah, I mean, weekends. If I could just get him, and if weekends work for you, I can do Saturdays.
I can always
and Sundays.
Like just email when I am.
Okay, yeah, just let me know the
because
days.
most of the right now, most of the time my days is really taken up with work and stuff.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so just
So
let me
and
know what
then
days, and I can
yeah,
tell him, we're gonna try to do it this time, and so he can clear up his schedule. Because I know he has to be at work kind of early, so that's why he likes to do it earlier in the evening. Um, but he don't work on weekends, so like I say, he can make one of these, and I'll definitely let you know what days we can do the other show, so we can all be on, because it's been a little while since we got the full crew on there.
yeah,
So hopefully we can get that going, and you know get that back to normal. But after basketball, I'll be able to do the normal stuff, because I won't have late nights having to pick him up, and late nights for um, basketball games. So after probably January, February, I'll be back to good. But
yeah,
till
yeah.
then, just let me know what days and times work for you, and we'll adjust accordingly.
Mm. Realistically, around that time, and I'm thinking more February, I'll probably have more opening,
Yeah.
like
February
to
after
where,
his season's over, I'll have all the time in the evening, because I won't have to run around. So most days will be fine for me. I'll check with Big Nige, and hopefully he'll have some time. And yeah, we'll continue doing what we do. Hopefully, I think I like the two. I don't know how you like the two kind of shows, two different type of shows. Um, Going
yeah,
forward.
no, that actually kind of works better because trying to mix in what's going on right now and then
Yeah,
trying to figure out two different things. Where if you just had the two separate shows, you just
yeah.
cover
So
both.
yeah, because it kind of, to me, I think it flows a little better if we have, we do just current stuff, and then here we can do, anything, why is Michael Jordan, why couldn't he shoot threes, stuff like that, because kind of trying to fit that into talking about the, why the Milwaukee Bucks suck, that, you can't really transition to
Yeah,
why can't Mike shoot threes, so it's a little
yeah,
easier
yeah. I
when we
catch
can
what you're
do it here.
saying.
So yeah, so hopefully we'll continue to do this, and we'll hopefully get some interaction. That's what this show is definitely for, is for you guys to come on and let us know about your GOAT, or who you don't think is a GOAT, who you know why you think they suck, whatever, that's what we're here for. So if there's anything else you got.
Yeah, I got one more thing.
Okay.
And never forget, Jordan released The Last Dance because of LeBron, and that's it.
Oh, okay, that we are going to revisit that. So because of you saying, because of that 2020 championship.
Nah, 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 nah. 2016.
Oh, well, okay, 2016. Because okay, yeah,
He,
because of the 2016 championship, Mike finally released The Last Dance.
yeah, it came out in 2020 because they still had to produce it and put it
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
But he gave the green light to release it in 2016, and he had the green light for 20 years. But that's another story.
Okay, so you think he felt threatened by the 2016 championship?
I don't think so. I know so.
Okay, okay, okay. So I've got to gather my thoughts on that, but
You're gonna have to gather your thoughts on a little bit more
uh,
than that, because I got something else for you. I ain't.
I don't know about that one.
Hey, all
I
right.
think he knew people were home. We were bored. We needed
Nah, because that
something. We
was in
need something to uplift.
2016, man.
We needed something to uplift us, something to bring that nostalgia, that
It
greatness.
released in 2020, but he gave the green light to release it. Is what I'm saying. It released in 2020. Like they had all the footage and all that. He's the only one that had control and the rights to say, you know what, it's time to release it. And he released it on the same day the Cavs had the parade in 2016. Now I'm not making this up. You can fact check it.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I mean, we can talk about this, because I know Mike is petty, of course he is. He lost a friend just because he said he gave him some constructive criticism, but I'm not. I don't know if he's that petty, but he
It
might
ain't
be.
it
He
ain't
might.
petty. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what it is. He feeling the footsteps on his throne that he felt he claimed. So he was like, you know what?
Okay. I mean, I need to do my research on that to see, exactly the specifics on when the green
Oh,
light and everything came
I
about.
got I can send you the articles and all that. I ain't
But,
I ain't
okay,
tripping.
shoot it to my email. I'm gonna read them and I'm gonna do a little research myself because, like I said, Mike is petty, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he saw that, and nobody had come back from that type of thing. 73-9 Warriors lose to LeBron and his Cavs. He might have said, you know what? He didn't know. I'm sure he was like, why is the GOAT debate even a GOAT debate before that? But I guess after that, it may have said he might have thought, okay, now they're gonna ramp it up. So I gotta show them who I am. Which I wouldn't be mad at. I wouldn't be mad at if that's the case. I would not be mad at Mike because some of the kids don't realize what they missed, and he had to show them what the real deal was. So I would not be
They
mad at
already seen the real deal, man. But hey,
Oh no, you might have seen the 3-1 comeback beating the 73-9 team, but look at a 72. Well, they weren't in 98, but just see the realness of a team that we were the Golden State Warriors, and nobody was on our level at all. So he wanted to show them what the truth is, who is the GOAT. He made himself the GOAT in 98, even though most of us felt before then. So maybe after LeBron declared himself the GOAT, he said, well, let me show the world who the real GOAT is and why.
no, sir, that wasn't.
And he made one of the best basketball documentaries of all time. So, he
I
does
can't.
a lot of all time things in his career and life. So we can only uh bow down to the true GOAT, the true and living GOAT.
I'm not. Hey, I'm not bound down to either one of them. But
Well, no, I ain't gonna bow down. I mean, let me rephrase that. We're not going. These aren't Diddy parties, but we're going to we're gonna appreciate the greatness.
yes, we could appreciate them both,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
only one can stand at the top, and we know who that one is. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'll believe that alone. I got somebody for you to really tell you about that. I'm gonna bring that person back
Who?
to tell you why he's the GOAT. So,
Next stream or something.
oh no, I mean we'll see. I mean, I'll ask. I'll see if we can get.
I mean, you gonna give me a name?
I think but we're gonna leave that name out.
Oh, is it the person that was on the other stream that other time?
We've had in contact with him. Let's say that we've had some.
So he's been on the panel.
He's discussed basketball with us before. Yeah.
Okay, so I know who you're talking about. you think he's gonna come and show up?
I'll ask. That's
Yeah. Okay.
I'll see. I'll try to get that ball rolling.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, we're definitely gonna see.
I think we'll have some interesting discussions if we can get that person back and discussing some of this GOAT talk. So with that said, we've been on here 1 hour and 39 minutes. I think we've been here long enough. If you didn't see it, the top 10, please go back and check that out. Fortunately, I couldn't display it because Restream is terrible. I save myself $19 a month, $144 a year. So I'm glad I tried that out. And we will be probably back here on StreamYard next few months. And hopefully you guys will, like I said, you guys will come in and interact with us. Let us know who your goats are, your opinions on anything, any topics we have, and we'll definitely bring you on. We'll drop the link in the chat so you can come on and discuss it with us. And just kind of that's kind of how we're going to do this show. We're just going to have it free flowing and just talking about the goats. Or well, Adam Silver already said who the GOAT was today, so we'll be talking more about. We won't be just talking about Michael Jordan. We'll talk about some of the other greats. Well, I'll call them that.
Hold on, man. I gotta let you get your wrap up. You've been on here too long.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're going to get off of here. I appreciate Sports Talk Only joining me tonight, and he'll be co-host hopefully for here in the near future. I will definitely put his channel in the description. If you want to go over there and definitely discuss LeBron James and whether he is who he is, check his channel out. Good content. That's why I brought him on. He knows what he's talking about. He can debunk and he can, he's pretty quick with it. So he knows his stats. He knows his stuff. So go over there talking crazy. He's gonna let you know. He's gonna let you know the truth. So yeah, check his channel out, and we'll be back soon. We'll be back Monday or Tuesday for the regular GOATcast podcast channel, and we'll be back probably the 22nd. That's before Thanksgiving, I think. So we'll probably do another stream for the GOAT Talk Only during that time. So any parting words, any last things to say?
Do you know what Tuesday's show will be about? Because I mean, I don't know how we'll make it, but I might be able
to. I don't. We'll see what goes on this weekend, and I'll try to have some. I'll talk to Big Nines, and we'll try to come up with something either tomorrow or Sunday, and I'll shoot it to you.
Okay. And
so,
then
yeah.
that's pretty much it. We'll be on. I'll plan to be on in 2 weeks.
Yep, we will see y'all on the 22nd.
All right.
All right.